I'm back. So exciting. Okay, so much to talk about. I think our lighting's okay, looking good, hopefully, so we're all set. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Kraken podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. If you are a new viewer, hello, I'm Eden. I'm the owner of Kraken, where I sell hand-painted progress keepers, hand-dyed yarn, and other handmade treasures. You can find me on Instagram as Crafting Kraken. You can also find me my patterns on Ravelry and Lovecrafts. Okay, so much has happened since the last podcast. And by so much, I mean Knit City. Okay, I have a chai tea with me today, and if I seem to have weird things with my fingers, I just put on new acrylics, and they feel awkward. But that's okay. I'm wearing finished object. I have some finished objects, a ton of new whips, and I say a ton. Was it 1? 3 new whips. Lots of acquisitions because I was released into the world of Knit City and had money to spend, and that was crazy. You probably know the feeling of just being released into a world of just your entire hobby and life has stuff on sale, and it's just like, wow. This is actually one of them. So what I'm going to do, because there's so many acquisitions, and actually quite a few of them are stuff that I've cast on already, I'm going to do acquisitions at the same time. And I have a list. I made a list so I wouldn't forget anything. So actually, to start, what I'm wearing, I will do a full talk through Knit City in the end. It's kind of unconventional how we're going to do this, but we're just jumping right in. Let's get cracking. Oops. Okay. So first off, the mug is new. How cute is that? This is what my chai tea is in. This is from Maza House Pottery. She was in the booth with Melly Knits. They're actually sisters. If you hear talking in the background, that's my brothers. They just got a VR headset, so it's been all the rage down here. It's beautiful, and I love the shape. I call it the cauldron shape of a mug is probably my favorite. And I just gave it a little stir with my spoon from Wild in the Woods in her practical magic box. I thought it looked very magical. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. How cute is that? Okay, should I talk a bit louder? I hope you can hear me. I feel like I'm whispering. Let's move on. What I'm wearing, my earrings are new. Look at these. Laser cut wood D20s. I saw them in the distance and I was like, I need to have those. I got them on the Saturday when I was working at Ginger Snap's booth, and she was right across from us. This is Heliotrope Designs, and I will link everybody down below that I mentioned. I just thought they were so cute, and I like the look of laser cut wood things. It's so pretty. And what I'm wearing today is also finished objects, so that leads us perfectly into the knitting content, or the yarn content in general. What I'm wearing is my zipper sweater by Petite Knits. It's finished. I did finish pretty soon after the last podcast. I got it blocked. It took a while to find a zipper to put into it. This one, it's not the color I love to go with it, but it actually works really well. And it was the only zipper we had that fit. So that was fine. And I brought the ball bands. Look how prepared I am. What is this? The main yarn. I don't have the yarn with me at the moment, unfortunately. It got put away in the box. I didn't feel like digging it out. But this is Dragon Horde yarn on her Fairy Tale DK Wandering Woods. And then the mohair held with it is Tofino Knitco in her mermaid mohair in the colorway Evening Woods. Can you see that? There we go. Evening Woods. It's so cozy. I was able to test it out. We went camping this past weekend. Not weekend, but midweek. And it was wonderful. It was cold, but I felt so cozy in it. Highly recommend as your camping sweater or just a cozy sweater. Works out great. Okay, next work in progress, or not work in progress, finished object. I'm so fancy. Is my Vivian top. So I'll put in a picture here of me wearing it. And if you are a returning viewer, you're probably like, could have sworn that was green, Eden. It was. As I finished it, I just had this on to keep it on my shoulders originally, but I'm going to change it. The original green had some really big color changes when I switched skeins, and I wasn't really a fan of how it was looking. Most of the time, I don't mind pooling, but this one was like an entire shoulder was a different color. So I thought, hey, I'm going to over dye it. And so I dipped it in some purple. And this is what happened. How pretty is that? You can still see the original green, like these, come on, these like little splotches are the original green, then the purple took over. I love how this worked. And clearly I have just this color theme going on right now. I like earthy tones, but really rich earthy tones. Like take your primary colors and rub them in the mud, and that's the tone I want. Oh, I love it. So this was crocheted in my own hand-dyed yarn. The original yarn was called Mermaid Salad, but I don't have that. It's a discontinued colorway. On my doubloon sock base, which I have in other colors, it took me a total of three hanks of yarn. Skeins. We had this debate in at the hotel of what a hank, what a skein, and what it like all those things. But anyway, if I switch between, it's because I'm confused. 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and I made the extra large with extra distance as well. And I used a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, which I believe right here. A US E4. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter. I had so much fun with this. I don't think I changed anything. I think it was just, I didn't quite understand the lace that went around the armband. So I kind of just made it up and used the first part, just worked my way through. It was probably more like, by the time I was getting done, the lace around the sleeves, like the armhole, was the last thing I needed to do. And by the time I reached that point, I had been working all day to finish this. And I was like, I don't feel like doing any more work. So I just winged it so I could block it. And I'm so glad it worked out. So there's no right side or wrong side. It's just so cozy. And I am making another one, which I will show you a little bit later. Or I guess I could move on to the next, because it is work in progress. So Vivian top, my own hand-dyed yarn. Very easy pattern. I enjoyed it a lot. And the last thing, I blocked super aggressively when this was done. because it was super cropped. It's still slightly cropped, but I blocked as much as I could of length out of it. So just a warning, if you're not a crop person, put in extra rows. I went up to, I think it was 35 repeats or 35 rows total. I think it was rows total. And it was just making it for me. I have a super long torso, so I need those extra rows. I would definitely add a few more rows. If you're somebody who has a long torso like I do, I just warn you that you need that extra distance. What you making? Okay, works in progress. So I finished it, and we were staying with Holly of Tofino Knit Co., a dear family friend, basically my aunt, and helped her set up her booth. And I was wearing the Vivian top, and she really loved it. And she was saying that she doesn't have any crocheted samples for her booth, and crocheters feel left out. So I offered to make her a sample in it. I have it in this bag by Puff Stitch. See your little tag there. My mom had bought a bag from her, and she was so sweet and sent an extra one, and I claimed it. Not on purpose. I was just like, hey, that's a nice bag. Could I use it for the day? And now it's been a whole week, so I'm guessing it's mine. So I'm crocheting this out of Tofino Knit Co., of course, on her Tough Sock, which is an 80-20 blend. This is an 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. It's 100 grams, and the colorway is Cotton Candy Green. And this is part of her Pastels series, which is beautiful. Oh, I loved it. And I promptly started this. I hand wound the ball. There was no ball winder in the hotel room, so I just wound it by hand. I had to back up a little bit because I made a mistake last night. So I thought it was a good time to walk away. Let me just wind it up real quick. But isn't that pretty? The light kind of makes it a little blurred out or a little bright. But it's a beautiful, let me come closer. There we go. Beautiful pastel green, like just barely green. So I've got a little distance going on here. And I'm using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. And it's just got the very simple 2-row repeat. So you have just some simple double crochets and then some shell stitches. And I love it. So easy. And it's really enjoyable to do while watching a show or something. And I almost forgot. I do have another finished object. The Flax DK that I was making as the original sample for Holly of Tofino Knit Co. in her double kayak base. I'll put a little video in here of me wearing it. I didn't get a proper picture of it, but oh my goodness, it was so soft, so comfortable, and it was an enjoyable make. My mom finished off the body, and she was able to cast off on the drive there, and I wove in the ends. So that was awesome. Highly recommend that yarn. And the pattern was actually very enjoyable. I think it can get a little simple at times, but it works. And I did not put short rows into that sweater. That's the only thing that I found with the Flax sweater, is that it either has no short rows or the short rows are put in underneath the sleeves, which is not super comfortable. So just a warning of that. And I used the needles called for in that pattern. And then speaking of flax, going to the next work in progress. I thought this would be done, but I got distracted by other things, as you do. Stuck. a little mixed up, but it's almost there. This is another flax. Originally I'm using the Flax Light because I got gauge holding fingering double instead of just fingering. But now you can do the Flax DK and not have to do all that, like making sure it's okay. And this one I'm doing without the garter ridge on the sleeve, so it's just a plain raglan sweater. This is the size 2. I'm just making this for fun. I believe I explained it in my last episode. This just, I wanted to use the yarns together and I didn't quite know what, so a kid sweater I thought would be a great idea. So, another flax, using some one-of-a-kinds of my own hand-dyed yarn. Still stuck. One is Watercolor Promises and the other is just never got a name. It was just for fun. And I have a new type of Watercolor Promises in the shop. I'm using size 4mm for the ribbings, 4.5 for the body and sleeves. And I've just got it in my ginger snap bag of Ludo. I love it. Okay. What now? Let's move on to the amount of socks that I have. I actually abandoned one sock in order to steal the needles for this sock. I put it on scrap yarn, don't worry. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is in a brand new bag that my mom bought me as a treat at Knit City. This is a Her Leather Co. bag, and it's perfect for socks. I was able to just take this and I was walking around working on a project while I help people like pick out yarn in the booth. It's great, and it's so shiny. Like, wow, I love it. I love it. I will link her down below. That goes with that project. So, I'm a little mixed up here. I always seem to do this. Don't know how, but I do. We go. So there was a booth called Stash Lounge. I never heard of them before, but they are a yarn store in Calgary, Alberta. They come all the way over to Knit City to sell things. And I saw this in the distance. I don't have the ball band with me, unfortunately, because I cast this on promptly at the end of the first day. But this is West Yorkshire Spinners on their Sparkle signature 4-ply sparkle base, and this is the colorway. I looked it up. Nutcracker 1166. Look at that sparkle. Oh my goodness. And it says Nutcracker, which leads me to believe that it's supposed to be like, oops, my computer went down. I want a kind of Christmassy, but tell me, my mom saw this and was like, that looks like a Harry Potter yarn because each color represents one of the Hogwarts houses. Hufflepuff, which is me. Got Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Ravenclaw. And in between, it's just a little black and white stripe. How cool is that? So I'm calling these my Hogwarts house socks. And these are so much fun. I'm knitting this on size 2.25mm needles, size US 1s. And I'm doing it cuff down, my just regular vanilla sock. I did a 2x2 rib. I'm just knitting the leg now. Oh, magic loop. What else? I think what I'm going to do is when I get to the heel flap and gusset, I am going to put in a scrap for that because I don't want the pattern to get wrecked because it's a self-striping yarn. So to figure that out, I'll have to find something to put in there. I don't think I have any sparkles, but I do have some things that might work. Just be a non-sparkly heel, which is okay. Then I also got this from Stash Lounge, doing acquisitions at the same time. apparently sock yarns were on my mind, I got some Mondim. How pretty is this? This is color 201. It's a yarn that's made in Portugal, 100% Portuguese wool. It's super soft for 100% wool, and the colors are just always stunning. Sorry, the light's adjusting here. Yeah, I love this yarn. I had a pair of socks knit in this, but they ended up going through the washer and dryer on accident, and they felted too small for my feet. So I needed to make a new pair. So I got this to do that with. And that'll be my next pair of socks. I have so many socks going right now. I gotta power make some socks. Speaking of socks, this is also a new cast on, but this is also a sample make for Holly of Divino Knitco. So if you are somebody who's been on with the podcast a while, you'll probably notice these socks or have a little bit of deja vu. So this is her coffee shop colorway, a classic. It's gorgeous. It's a mix of teal, light brown, and dark brown to represent a coffee shop in Tofino called Rhino Coffee. So good if you ever are there. It's a tourist classic, really. I believe this is also on her, Tough Sock, Superwash BFL, and nylon, 80/20. The colorway coffee shop. So I'm just working away on a sample for her because the original sample that she had was actually just me making my own pair of socks because I loved it and she would borrow that pair. But then after a while I gave those socks to my younger brother who has smaller feet than I do right now. So the socks that I realized I knit them wrong and I'm supposed to knit them bigger for my own feet, I gave them to him. And after a little boy wears a pair of socks for a few months, they get really beat up and not show worthy. And also they faded quite a bit because we usually wash our superwash socks through a washing machine, so that takes a toll on them. So it was time to make a new pair, and these ones would be specifically for the shop because that striping is just amazing, and you can't explain it to people that when you see it in the twisted skein, it's so hard to imagine what it looks like, but it is a micro striping yarn. It's just so much fun. And again, I'm doing this on my classic vanilla sock base. 2.25 millimeter needles, magic loop. And then the Progress Keeper is from last year's, here we go, last year's 12 Days of Christmas at Sea Progress Keeper collection. I haven't had any plans yet to do any Christmas box things. I don't know if I will. Because if I did them, I'd paint them. Maybe like a special edition Progress Keeper for Christmas. So that is just a simple project that I am doing while I watch podcasts and when I watch movies. Like it's my watching project. Or I take it with me when I leave the house. Okay. Amazingly, I think that is all the projects. I did cast on my spring autumn jacket. I cast it on so that I could work on it on my trip, but I did not have the time. And when I finally sat down to knit, I just wanted to work on these. So it's just a cast on and a couple rows. So I will show it to you when it's actually a decent thing to see. I think I talked about everything, on there. Oh yeah, and Stash Lounge. They gave me this with my purchase. So there's their website. And it's just, it was such a nice booth. There are things that I wish I would have gone back to grab from their booth. And they sell like the Brooklyn tweed, like that quality. I mean, all yarn is quality. But you know, when you say Brooklyn tweed, you're like, yes. Brooklyn tweed, the high end. The handmade pasta of the yarn world. The high-end machine processed yarn. That's kind of what it is. What else? Oh, this is a new bag. This is my new everyday bag. It's already a little rough and tumbled because I've been wearing it every single day since I got it. This is a Ginger Snap cross-body backpack. So it's got this shoulder strap that you can clip onto either side. It's got a back pocket for like your keys, stuff you safer things you don't want to get pickpocketed, so your wallet and stuff. There's a front pocket here that I mostly keep like my lip balm and an elastic and Advil, those like quick things. And then in the main pouch, you got a pocket back here that you can keep stuff in. Got my mints main section. Got a flashlight in here. But it's great, and I love crossbody bags to have my hands free to do things. And then if I don't know if you'll be able to see this, probably not, it's too shiny, but it says Ginger Snap. Super classy. But I took this as like my payment for working at the Ginger Snap booth for a day, and it's lovely. Lovely. Definitely need these. If you're a crossbody bag person, this is fantastic. And also, it's small enough that it doesn't hurt my shoulders. That's a little bit of a tangent that I'm a side sleeper. And so my shoulder muscles are super tight and always kind of sore. So when I wear a crossbody bag, it can get super heavy and super sore very quickly. This doesn't bother me at all. This is very gentle on my shoulders, which is awesome. That's what I need in life. Okay. So that is all the yarn content. We flew through that. My goodness. A sip of tea. I guess we can move on to life stuff. If you're not into life stuff, I will be talking about Knit City and other things and life stuff, so if you want to, stick around. If not, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, talking about woolly and all the random things. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever time it is there that is full of yarny goodness and joy. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, or add a like or a comment, whatever floats your goat. And thank you for joining me. See you next time. Okay, life stuff. I'm gonna work on a sock while I talk about life stuff. Which one? Let's do this one. It's a good one. And I put a Parker's Keeper on it now. So, it's about a week ago now, which is insane. My mom and I left on the Thursday before the Knit City weekend to go and meet Holly at the hotel and chill, get ready, make sure that we have everything. And so we both worked on the Flax DK on the way down. I got to drive a lot of the way, which was actually really enjoyable. I'm somebody who likes driving, but there are people in my life that like driving a little bit more than I do, so I just became a passenger princess in general. We made it to our hotel. We had an excellent evening. We wrapped up some mystery skeins, and actually I had intended to vlog the whole weekend, but vlogging Knit City is for somebody who is there to shop, not people who are there to sell, because I had no time and didn't even think about it. So by the time Saturday was done, I'd given up on vlogging, but I do have little clips of on the way there. And yeah, we got set up the Friday evening. I got to meet so many people. I got to see Kelsey of KZip, and I got to see Brittany of Crux Fibers in person for the first time, which was amazing. Hi, Brittany. It was so good to meet you. Yeah, I got to hang out with Kim of Gingersnap. Who else? There's so many people. Melissa of Melly Knits. Who else? Oh my goodness, so many people. Yeah, my brain's drawing a blank. There's so many people, but those were the main people that I was so happy to see that I knew prior. There were new people I met through Knit City, which was awesome, but those were the people I knew prior from Instagram and were like my internet friends. And we got set up, and Holly had the best setup that her yarn was already on the shelves, all done up, strapped in, but the shelves were on wheels, so we could just roll those shelves in and get everything ready. So it didn't take us like 8 hours to set everything up, which was awesome. So we got done. What did we do? We went to IKEA, got some things. That was awesome. That day, we ate dinner. We kind of just hung out. It was a great time. It was like the sleepover I never had as a kid. So I had so much fun. Then Saturday, I worked at the Ginger Snap booth. If you came over and said hi, thank you so much. I really appreciate it when you guys came over and were saying that you watched the podcast and were a fan. That was awesome. Yeah, that was a busy day. I am somebody who technically works in a chair, basically this chair to be specific, most of the time. So being on my feet all day was a little bit of a challenge, but we got through, and I had so much fun helping people find yarn for projects and put stuff together. That was really cool. And my feet survived. That was awesome. I wore the most comfortable shoes I could. And I tried a Jappa dog for the first time. If you don't know what that is a Japanese hot dog. So good. I even had one the next day because it was so good. And yeah, I survived that day. My feet survived. I was so tired. We just crashed that night. And then the next day, the Sunday, I worked at Tofino Knitco's booth, which was such a good time. And the Sunday was a little bit more chill, so I could say hi to people. I did do most of my shopping on the Saturday because I had a little bit of a lunch break and just went around seeing everybody. Ooh, that's what I forgot. I did get one more thing at that event. I wonder. I found it. So I went to, I'll put it right here, her booth, and she was selling beam paints. And if you don't know what beam paints are, they are an indigenous handmade watercolor company. This is just a beautiful shiny silver, and this is a color that I use a ton when I'm painting, so I really wanted to give it a try. This was the only one I got. This is Shell. I don't know if I'll be able to show. There you go. I know that's the native pronunciation, but it's different in each tribe, and so I'm not even going to attempt it because I struggle enough with my own. Anyway, yeah, beam paints. That was something I went and got. There's their logo, the bees, kind of covered by sticker. But if you don't follow them, you definitely should, especially if you love watercolors or paints in general. have more paint that was gifted to me by Brittany. I am sorry, Brittany. So many things. Another moment. I'll remember everything eventually. Probably be more stuff in the next episode. But yes, Beam Paints. She got me this paper with the whole spectrum on it. How cool is this? I'm so excited to play with this. I'm so sorry I forgot about it. Oh, here we go. This gold. This gold is what I'm excited about. Like, look how shiny that is. So we got Fall Popular, Morning Peach, Pumpkin, Summer Sun, Cherry Magenta, Spring Leaf Green, Robin's Egg, Great Ocean, Almost Night, Blueberry Mountain, and Gold. So definitely check these guys out. I've got the full spectrum, so this gets me excited to paint some more, which is something that I really needed. Be on the lookout for some new things coming to the shop. Yeah, Beam Paints. Where was I? The Sunday was super chill, and thank you to everybody who stopped by and said hi. Oh my goodness. Some of the things, I was so inspired by people at Knit City, seeing their sweaters and their color ideas and what they're looking for is just, it's so inspiring. So I found a couple sweaters that I would like to knit and actually have similar names, which is funny. I want to knit, I didn't write it down. Well, the first one is the Dustland sweater by Stephen West. I got to wear that in Tofino Knit Co's booth because she had a sample of it, and of course I was only too obliged to wear a fancy sweater to show off the yarn. And then the other one, I believe, was the Dustin sweater. The designer escapes me, but it'll be here on the screen. But I would love to make those two. And I think I will. Once I finish up some socks, I think I'm going to go sock crazy for the next little while. And also crocheting that top. I want to get those done first. She doesn't really need them anytime super soon, but I would like to just get them done, get them off to her, so she doesn't have to worry about it, and I don't have to worry about it. I just want to be good. And yeah, we were exhausted, but had such a good time. And I had a really good time. It was my first big yarn event, and I loved it. I really loved it, and I'm glad I went to go in. And I'm so thankful for people who asked me for help. Really, that's the thing I'm grateful for. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I hadn't. And also, who knows the amount of money I would have spent if I weren't working the whole weekend. So that was just a great time on all in all. And on the way home, well, actually, what happened was when the weekend was over, on the Monday, we all said our goodbyes, and then Mom and I went to Richmond because we had to pick up my husband's brother for a little trip. He's still here right now. And while we were waiting for his plane to land, we went to the Richmond Center at the mall, which was so cool, and we made the discovery of Muji, I believe it's called. I'll leave a link down below. But it's a Japanese, everything you need is in there. Japanese imported things. And so the chai tea I'm drinking, it's a powdered mix. It's so good. I also got some coffee, and they had flannel shirts that were so soft. So soft. Highly recommend. I didn't get one, but just touching it, I recommend it. So, yeah, go have a look at that. And it was one of their smaller stores, apparently. There's a bigger one. I would love to see the bigger one. It also would be dangerous to go to the bigger one. And yeah, I think that's it. We finally got home. We were exhausted, but it was such a good weekend. And since then, we've kind of just been chilling. That Tuesday was me and my husband's 2nd year wedding anniversary. which was crazy. We didn't really do much for it, but he got me flowers. And we, together, I have it right here, we got a Kobo. So this is the Kobo Libra 2. And that's the book I just finished on it. Actually, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I didn't realize like how much a Kobo would change the amount I would read. It doesn't have like that blue light burning as you would reading off of a like phone or an iPad or a computer. So that's really nice. It made it really easy for me to like take this camping, and when it got dark, I was still able to read. And Half a Soul was actually excellent. I really liked the book. It's a Regency era version of House Moving Castle. And it was really good. I recommend it. If you're somebody who actually enjoys A Court of Thorns and Roses, is that what it's called? The big one that's going on right now. You would like this book. Same vibes. And yeah, so this was our anniversary present to each other so that we could both read the books we want without gaining a huge collection of books on our shelves, because we already have a huge collection of books on our shelves. So, yeah. And these things do audiobooks now. You just connect your Bluetooth to, like Bluetooth headphones. Amazing. So that one, really good. I got it off of Indigo, if you're in Canada. I don't know if Kobos are an American thing, but it's from, Kobo the brand is owned by Rakuten now, instead of Kobo just being its own thing. So it's a little different now, but it was really good. And they're very easy to purchase books. Get it on there. It's all good. I loved it. Yeah, we went camping. It was wet and cold, but we had a great time. We had a covering over our table so we could play board games, and the rain didn't bother us. We were able to have a big campfire for the first time all camping season. So that was really nice because the fire ban was gone. Okay, I think that's all I have to talk about. I've just been chilling since then, just recuperating. Coming up with ideas for new painting things. And yeah, I hope that you were doing well. If you went to Knit City, I hope you had a good time. If you didn't, that's totally okay. I know not everybody can make it. And I hope you had a great time anyways. Okay. I think that's all the blabbering I'm going to do. Because I think I'm running out of words. Okay, yeah. I think that's it. I think I've talked about all the things that at least I've remembered. Found all the things that I was supposed to talk about. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever time it is there that is full of yearny joy and goodness. I think it was the other way around, but that's okay. Both is good. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Even if you don't, leave a like or leave a comment, whatever floats your goat. I will see you next time, hopefully